What is good, y'all? Welcome to Let's Cap. I'm your host, Ronald, also known as Youcapper from Sportsmemo.com at Youcapper Sports on Twitter. Got my guy Chris with me once again here. Chris, man, yesterday, not a good day for me, man. Went 0-3 over at Sportsmemo.com on the NBA. One of them was the Lakers team total under that went over because of OT, and then I had the Bucks to cover, and I also had that game to go under. And Jimmy Butler kind of foiled all those things in the fourth quarter there. Um, I think it's a bounce back. I still feel like I trust my capping from yesterday. I feel like those were still the spots there, but you can't deny a historic night from Jimmy Butler, and obviously OT always well typically foils the unders. So 0-3 yesterday. Hopefully I bounce back today and go 3-0. We'll see what happens. But how was your day yesterday, Chris?
Yeah, so just 1-0 yesterday for me. I was on the Bucks first half, thinking that they would start early. Didn't got the line late, so I didn't want to lay the 7.5 or the 8 with them full game. So I just played the first half in that cash minus 3.5. And then the player props that I talked about, Caleb Martin went over, Austin Reeves went over, and I know I also talked about Dylan Brooks going under his 20.5. He went over by two, I think, one or two. And then there was
Yeah.
one more player prop that also, or it might have just been those ones, but I didn't play any of those official, but they also finished pretty well also. So yeah, I think I'm gonna just continue to try to stay low volume, only play what I absolutely love. RC, I talked to you about a little bit yesterday about getting burned on the Nets in the Philadelphia 76ers. Losing three plays in one game will make you kind of dial it back a little bit, and I like that game to go over the weekend. So yesterday I was
Yeah.
like, I just make one play, something I absolutely love. So that's kind of how I'm feeling today as well. Just one play so far. Potentially may add on, but I do like a couple player props more so than the sides. We got three home favorites today, looking to close out the series and push it to round two. So hopefully you can bounce back. I believe in your capping skills as well, RC. I think that you'll bounce
Yeah.
back. As long as you keep trusting your process, dude. You're gonna be ups
Yeah.
and downs
Yeah.
like always. And what better time to bounce back than now, RC? Let's do it.
Oh yeah, for sure. I still, like I said, I still trust what I did yesterday. I feel like I would have taken it, 10 times out of 10, those same bets. Let's go into the games today. We got three games on the board. I know you got a short time period with me here, but let's get into that first one here. The Hawks and the Celtics. I'll bring up the screen, but while I bring that up, go ahead and talk about what you see on this game here.
Yeah, I see. So this one's pretty simple for me anyway. Hopefully it turns out that way. Boston coming back home, they didn't look like themselves on in game three. They went down there and lost, but they were able to get the win in game four. um, and really just doesn't matter. I feel like they just overpower anything that Atlanta has to offer. Atlanta, of course, will be in this game without the services of Dejounte Murray, who was suspended for making contact with an official, of course.
Yeah.
And and the way I chose to play the Celtics, RC, they're up to 13.5 point favorites now. So you definitely missed the better of the line, and you're really asking them to. The books are anticipating this to be a blowout. So I chose to play them first half. RC. I typically don't like laying big numbers like 7.5 or 8, and 8 is what I got it at, and gave it out to my YouTube members that earlier. But the Celtics are, like I said, in the closeout game, no DeJounte Murray, and they've dominated the Hawks, specifically early in games. They've just started off really, really well. So in the two games so far that they played at home, they're about a plus 20, RC. If you look at that, if you just look at Celtics uh, in the playoffs this season at home, because their first two games were at home, they're plus 20.
Yeah.
You can pull this up on NBA.com like you're doing. You can also look at it on SDQL on Killer Sports as well. Um, they
Wait, so
just dominated
playoffs
this.
at home, right?
Right, playoffs at home.
Mhm.
Is it coming up?
Yeah, yeah, playoffs at home.
Okay, yeah. What do you see for first half?
Oh, first half specifically.
Yeah, first half, because I'm playing the first half
Um,
specifically, where the Celtics have been probably the best team in the NBA. If I'm being honest, I didn't check that number though.
just net rating wise, or on? Oh shit, yeah, 38.4.
Yeah, they've dominated them in the first quarter. Also, if you go to Killer Sports and look at it, so you see point differential in the first half specifically. They're dominating the first quarter, also dominating the first half. Um, and that's the way I chose to play it. Also, just looked at historically, home favorites land double-digit points in playoffs. They're winning the first half by averaging 9 points, and if it's the first round of the playoffs, they're winning by 8 points. And they're winning the first quarter by 8 points and winning the second quarter by an average of 2. So that's a 10-point margin as well. Couldn't talk anybody off playing the first quarter spread also, even though it is a pretty big number. I just think Boston, they typically from what I've seen from them, they typically like to get out and start the game fast, and then afterwards they'll let up in the second half. And I think all that's apparent in what you see here, where they only average 51 points in the second half and rely a little bit more on their defense. It's almost like they become disinterested in the game. So Celtics first half minus the 8. I think it's a double-digit game at halftime. So I felt pretty confident and comfortable laying the 8 points.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of touched on it. I posted this on Twitter yesterday, just the double-digit lines here, the double-digit favorites in the playoffs since 2018. 27-4 straight up, 22-7-2 against the spread. You can see that big-ass gap here in the first quarter and the first half. And that's primarily where I went here in pretty much all three of these games, because it's active on all three with the Nuggets now double-digit favorites. Obviously, you see that first quarter, I think 6.6 there, and then you add in the half, that's nearly double digits of a gap there. And when you play volume, to be out when you play volume, it seems like I would say this. I think you're more looking for profit than a perfect 10-0 day, if that makes sense to you. When you're a volume better, you're obviously not going to be perfect, right? So just being able to grab the numbers where you feel like you have the edge, you should be able to profit over time. And that's kind of how I'm taking this today. Really is taking that first quarter and the first half and pretty much all three of these games, and trust the numbers in that I would be ahead at the end of the day. Does that make sense to you, Chris? I don't know if that does, but that's what I'm actually doing today specifically. So, what do you think about that? I know you're not a volume guy, but what do you think about that thought process?
Yeah, I think the thought process makes a lot of sense. I see one thing I would I would look at that and I would say, all right, let me see how well these teams do, in closeout games specifically. It's something else I would probably look at. Interesting stat. I don't think I knew was I don't think the Timberwolves ever been swept before. So they typically always fight hard, in that game 4 if they are down, 3-0. So I would go in and kind of see how these teams do as home favorites. With 3 wins, in the closeout game, looking at the Denver Nuggets specifically, the Boston Celtics, and of course the Phoenix Suns as well tonight. And then if everything kind of aligned, then I would kind of have the same thought process as well. I think
Yeah,
if any of these teams
I
are going
think
to fight tonight, it'll probably be the team I see putting up the most fight will probably be the Timberwolves, just because they are
yeah.
pretty scrappy, and we've seen them with their back against the walls. They had to fight to try to get into the play-in tournament and all those different things. So that's the team I probably think that could kind of hold serve the most. But Denver's been a absolute juggernaut at home, so I couldn't talk you off of that thought process at all. I see.
So just looking at the Wolves specifically since 2018, the hard part about this is the roster is like completely different from last season. Um, but they did win the one here at home. Both of these at home. Now we're on the road where we know the Nuggets are you know you know I would say the better team by margin, right? And that's probably why the line has gone the way it has. But at the same time, I can't trust them to do the full game for the most part. That's why I was kind of sticking to that first quarter, first half. Um, I could see the Wolves, or the Nuggets kind of giving up, not giving up, but like kind of letting off the gas pedal in the second half, for the most part. But that's the way. That's what I am kind of just. That's just my angle for today, basically. Keeping it simple, knowing that this is a closeout game for these teams with double digit favorite situations, where historically it's been good to back them. So like I said, I'm just going for profit. If I go 6-0, if I go 4-2, whatever it might be, then as long as I got the money, the profit, right? Did you see anything from a prop standpoint here in this game with Dejounte out?
Absolutely. So I looked at well, not even with DeJounte out, but I like Capella most in this game. I like his rebounds and assists to go under 11 and a half. I talked about this one earlier with I just think that simply put, he's not someone that's been extremely effective throughout the entirety of this series, and I don't see it really starting here today either. He's averaged just 8.3 rebounds and zero assists in the series, so he's 4-0 to the number, and mainly because he doesn't average any assists. He's averaging zero assists on a
Yeah.
half assist per game. Also, he went 2-0 to the under during the regular season versus Celtics as well. A big part of it was, kind of due to his minutes. He's been kind of splitting his minutes with Okongwu. In the regular season, he played just 18 and 21 minutes, but during the playoffs, he's averaging just under 26 minutes as well. So I really like Clint Capella to go under 11 and a half rebounds plus assists tonight, RC.
Yeah. I think so. I brought up Edge House, and there's a whole bunch of unders we could look at actually today, which is crazy. So you got Capella 5-1 to the under in last three, I think last 3 weeks it says. Yeah, last 3 weeks. But what do you think about these guys here? Conley under, Capella under, sorry, Gobert under. Um, well, what do you think about those two guys as well on the rebounds and assist prop?
Uh, I think the Timberwolves fight RC, so I think it could be some more rebound opportunities, specifically for a guy that is only out there to rebound, like Rudy Gobert. I think he's going to get his minutes as well, just because they also suffered another injury with Kyle Anderson, so he's been playing some
Yep.
of that 4 and the 5. So I think I don't like Rudy Gobert to go under as much, but I couldn't talk you off Collins. I think the only thing with Collins is that Dejounte won't be there, so a little bit more potential for him to
Conley
come
should
up.
have, yeah, Conley should have the ball in his hands a little bit more,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah,
So
a
that makes,
little
yeah,
bit
that
more.
makes sense.
So I really like Capella though. I just think that Boston got out rebounded in game 3 and they corrected it in game 4. You see Robert Williams have 15 rebounds in the last game. I think it was Al Horford, right? They're putting those guys in because they know that the one way they can lose the game is to potentially get out rebounded and give Atlanta a lot of second chance opportunities. So I think they realized that. I think Joe Mazzulla realized that, and he made the adjustment in game 4. And I think they continue to do that today. And Clint Capella just doesn't play as many minutes. I actually really love this. This is one of my favorite player props of the day is Capella to under the 11 and a half rebounds plus assists.
Nice. Okay. Um, do you remember the Nuggets trend? Was it okay right here? No, that wasn't it. Was it back to back home games? I already forgot what it was that was so profitable during the regular
Oh
season.
no, it was a home game after a road game.
Home game after a road game. Got it.
And if they the favorite,
Well, so
or
if we
was
look
it? No,
at,
I think
I
I
think it
know
was
what you're talking about. See, you're talking about the second leg after a win, and then they're a home favorite
yeah,
again.
yeah, that's what it was.
I think that's what you're
Um,
talking about.
yeah. But we see here, I mean, just at home in general, the Nuggets are a lot better at home versus they are versus on the road here. So if we look at them at home specifically this season, averaging 119.2, allowing 109. If we go on the road, I think it's worse both. Yeah, so they definitely score a lot less and they give up a lot more. So just the comfortability at home is a plus here. Let's look at them in the playoffs at home specifically. Okay. So they did pretty well the first two games at home, especially in game 1. They had the rest advantage there. Ah, I don't know, but I already took the first quarter in the first half. Shit, why am I looking at the Nuggets? We're talking about the Hawks. My bad. Let's actually go to that since we're there. Did you see anything else in this one other than props?
And which one, the Atlanta game, or we
Yeah, yeah.
switching
Or
now?
sorry, in this
The
one. Yeah, I know
In the
you had
Denver game,
AD.
it's two
And yeah, I
props
know
that
you
I
had
really
Ants,
like.
right?
Yeah, two props that I really like in this game, RC, and they're opposite of each other. The first one is Anthony Edwards to go over his 27 and a half points. minus 125. I think BetMGM was the best line. He kind of said it after the game the other day. He said they're not going out without a fight in the post game interview, and I think the Nuggets are. If you watch the way that they defend him, they're cool with letting him be the guy that that does all the scoring as long as they win the game, right? Dude has back games of 41, 36, and 34 points. He shot 23, 22, and 27 field goal attempts, and he got double-digit three-point attempts in every single game. He's averaging 33.2 points per game on the series, shooting 48% from the field, 22 shots a game, 40% from the three-point line. I think Anthony Edwards is the guy that goes down. I don't think that they win the game, but I think he has a big game to end the season tonight. And then conversely, I think Karl-Anthony Towns doesn't. I think he's the guy that goes under. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking at his under 32.5 points, rebounds, and assists, plus 100 on DraftKings. I don't trust him on the road. He's 3-1 to the under on this number. The only game he went over was game 3. He's averaging just 28 points, rebounds, and assists in the series. He's only shooting 43%, only shooting 28% from the three-point line. And he's been prone to foul trouble as well. He's been getting a lot of foul trouble. If you look at the last 2 games, the first 2 games for him were the worst 2 games of the series. He had just 23 points, rebounds, and assists in game 1 and just 24 in game 2. Even with the win in game 3, he still only had 30 points, rebounds, and assists and only took 9 shots. I think Aaron Gordon has done a really good job on him throughout the series. And I looked at this as well, RC. So according to NBA matchup data, Towns has scored just 13 points while being defended by Aaron Gordon. Towns is 5 for 14 from the field and 1 for 4 from the three-point line in those minutes, getting to the free throw line just twice in 3 games while being covered by Aaron Gordon. So Aaron Gordon is, he's done really, really well against him. And I think that, in a big time closeout game today, I think we see some regression from Cat. And I don't think that he has a big game. I think Anthony Edwards does. So I would look for Ant to go over his points prop and Karl-Anthony Towns to go under his points, rebounds, and assists under 32.5.
I know you focused more so on the points there, but with Anderson out, do you think he does facilitate a little bit more or grab a little bit more rebounds and you could take advantage of the PRA as well?
Who's that, Anthony Edwards?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, he's a Swiss Army knife for this team. Every category. You look at it right there. I see rebounds, assists, steals, blocks.
Yeah.
Like he does it all for this team. So I couldn't talk you off of that at all. They don't have anybody that's going to be able to replicate what Slow-Mo brings to the table at all for this team. So I expect the ball to be in his hands for, big part of the game tonight.
That's heavy minutes there. 3 straight 40+ minutes.
Yeah, but he's 21, RC. He still got similar.
Yeah. I like it. What was the point number again?
27.5. You can also get it at 28.5. So 27.5, a little bit juice at minus 125, but 28.5, you can get it like plus money. And it's elimination game, man. I think he goes out swinging tonight, RC. Unload all the bullets in the chamber, RC.
You think the Nuggets win at the end of the day?
Say it again?
You think the Nuggets win at the end of the day?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think they absolutely win. Yeah. Okay. But you go down shooting, right? Like Scarface. You don't leave any bullets in the chamber. You let all of them go.
Yeah. Got you. I like it. All right. So you got the Ant points there, and then the under on Cat, right? Did you have anything on the Nuggets side at all? Do we see a triple-double here from Jokic?
I think you could potentially see a triple-double. He missed the last game because he only had 6 assists. And, being back at home, I'm pretty sure his assist numbers go up a lot. Also, I think it could be a potential. I saw somebody put it in the chat, potential bounce-back game for Jamal Murray. He didn't play well in game 3 or game 4. And we know he was lighting them up in game 1 and 2, hitting all those three-pointers. I think he hit 10 threes in the first 2 games, shooting 20 shots. Yeah, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I think, he probably gets back to –
the volume is there for sure.
Yeah, we were talking about Bubble Murray in the first 2 games, and then he kind of, dipped off a little bit. And we know that the Minnesota Timberwolves have struggled against guards throughout the entirety of the season. So I think, it's probably a big game for Jamal Murray being back home. But I couldn't talk anybody off Jokic at all. We know what this dude does. And even, when we think that there could be some complacency on the Denver side, RC, it won't be from Jokic. Jokic will go out there and do everything that he possibly can to, dominate this game. And it might be a points, his points, RC. I think he had 43 in the last game. he's going to make the right play. So, potentially just looking at his points, rebounds, and assists to go over because he's going to have the ball in his hand. I expect high usage. The report just came out from Mr. Singer, who does the beat writing for the Denver Nuggets, and Michael Porter Jr. said that they don't want to go back. He said, I don't want to go back to Minnesota. So I think they do whatever they possibly have to. And to me, that means a lot of usage for Jokic, especially with, Phoenix also having a chance to wrap the series up tonight. Because then you don't want your opponent to be more rested than you are.
Yeah. Man, you didn't take nothing on the side, the side or total?
Nothing at all. I see. The only thing that interests me just a tad bit, and I think you probably catch a better live number. I think if Minnesota has a fighting chance in this game, it'll be early. They did pretty well as road dogs post All-Star break. In the first quarter, first half specifically, after All-Star break, Garcia. But I don't want to get involved on the side at all. I think Denver should win this game. I think they should win it comfortably, especially with the injury to Kyle Anderson. I'll probably watch it and play something live, especially if Minnesota comes out, with just their guns blazing early.
Gotcha. Live betting in the playoffs, definitely more profitable for sure. All right, so we got seems like that first quarter is where that gap is between the Wolves and the Nuggets too. As far as like the advantage towards the Nuggets, especially let's look at on the road. Yeah, look at that first quarter in Denver between the Nuggets and the Wolves this season. It's close to an 8-point gap there. That's the way that I already took it first quarter in the first half, so hopefully that cashes. But I stayed away from the full game just for the reason that it is a large line, and it, like you said, I think Ant mentioned that they're not done. They're gonna fight till the end. So if the Nuggets kind of let out the gas pedal, there could be a backdoor cover. But I think for the most part here at home in Denver, the Nuggets take care of business first quarter in the first half. Let's move on to that last one. The Suns and the Clippers here. This line moved a lot right from open just because they didn't know if Kawhi was gonna play, so they came out with an open number. Then with him being out now, he's obviously the line has obviously moved. I think it was like 2 or 2.5 points right from open. Wait, what did it open at 12?
No, it opened at 10, like you said.
I think it opened at 10. Okay, yeah, this says 12, but I'm pretty sure I saw that 10 at open.
Sometimes they change that number. I feel like I see that number changes.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I figure 12 and a half. It is obviously you're missing some of those numbers there, but I think it goes along with just the other two games here. Closeout game at home. Pretty much the more dominant team is obviously favored by double digits. We see that trend as double-digit favorites, winning and covering first quarter, first half for the most part. Just continue to do that here, regardless of the full game, what happens in the full game. But I'll tell you this, if any of these games where they don't cover in the first quarter, like you said, I'm touching the live number on the favorite there to cover the full game. You have anything on this one?
No, I think the only thing I'll add, I see, is that of all the favorites, of all the teams that are favorites today, the Suns are the team that's actually lost the first quarter every single game. They haven't covered a first quarter
spread. I saw that on NBA when I was doing the research that their net rating rate is negative in the first quarter.
Which is so mind-boggling, I see, because during the regular season, I know they weren't playing as tough opponents, but during the regular season, they hadn't lost the first quarter at all. So, this one kind of feels like if the Clippers going to be able to kind of, hang around, it will be because, they do so early. But, this is a big game for the Suns because they want to go ahead and, get this series out of the way. Their starters have been playing really heavy minutes, I know you probably been paying attention to that, but Chris Paul, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, and, KD, those guys are all averaging, north of 35 to 40 minutes per game. And that's taxing on a guy like Chris Paul that's like 127 years old and basketball age. So I think, they want to go ahead and get this series out the way. They should come out here and fight. I also like the under in this by RC. I know we kind of talked about that one. These big favorites, a lot of the times people just think, take the team total over. But typically,
Mhm.
you see the best defensive effort from the team that's also, in a do or die situation with their season on the line. So a lot of these games go under. And I kind of mentioned that. I kind of forgot to mention that when we talked about the earlier one, but definitely like the Boston game to go under. I think they trapped, Trey Young a
Yeah,
lot
I like that
today.
game as well.
I like that game to go under. I also like the Timberwolves. I think the Timberwolves also come out here and fight. And Timberwolves offense also struggles on the road also. So I would look for that one to go under. This is the one I'm a little more hesitant to. I think we lost some value on the number. I think it's already down like 3 points. The last game was 227. It's already down to 224, 223 and a half, I think.
Yeah.
I still would lean towards all three of the games to go under. I think you see the best defensive effort from all of these teams. The teams trying to close out and the other teams that
Mhm.
potentially, trying to avoid elimination as well.
Yeah. You're right about the under. We talked about the under and these 4 seed and 5 seed games where they're typically tight, right? They are comparable teams, and those typically go under historically. I could just show that real quick what I'm talking about. So if we go, so we just go 2017 in the first round, the seed four, basically seed four versus seed five. Most of these games are going under, and we could just I think it's doubling the number here just because they're playing each other. But we go home, right? The 4 seeds at home, 9-26 to the under. If the 4 seed is on the road, 10-18, 10-18-2 to the under. So for the most part, you're just seeing unders in these tight games here, these tight seeds. And it has been profitable this season. If we just look at this season specifically, 6-2 to the under. So just completely blind tailing this 4 or 5 seed going under has been profitable. Obviously, we got two overs here with the Suns and Clippers. So um, I would say that would be the way to go for the most part. But this one here, I did the same thing, Chris. I did the first quarter, first half on the Suns here. I did see that the Suns don't typically start off well. For the most part. But one thing that I did look at, I think I just pulled it up here. If we go back to Kawhi and PG not playing on the road, 2-6 straight up, 2-6 against the spread. You can see that the largest gap here, first quarter and the first half, right, for the most part. And then if we go to the Sun side, and we go to Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant played minutes greater than 0 and line less than or equal to -10. So double digit favorites with KD in the lineup. They start out strong, up +9 in that first quarter. Another 4 points there, so +13 at half with Kevin Durant on the line in the lineup as double digit favorites. I think what they do here is really try to take care of business early. You talked about the heavy minutes that these guys have been playing. Why not start off strong and let them manage the minutes the rest of the way? If the bench could keep the manage that lead to like some type of double digit lead throughout the game, KD and Booker could sit right for a majority of that second half for the most part and just trust their bench until if for some reason it gets spicy, then they go back in. But other than that, that's the way that I would think that these in a closeout game, these heavy favorites would probably play in that sense, right? Finish or start strong and see if we can manage the key players' minutes the rest of the way. So that's the reason why I kind of stayed away from the full game, even though a lot of the trends are pointing towards them covering the full game as well. So yeah, anything from a prop perspective on this one as well?
I like so Alex said in the comment, is Kawhi still out? Yeah, Kawhi's out. From
Kawhi's
what
out.
I'm being
Yeah.
told, he won't play even if they somehow were to get out of this series. He's not coming back this series. They think it could be a meniscus, but I think more information will be released about that soon. As far as prop perspective in this one, I like Torrey Craig, man. I know that campaign is supposed to be coming back, and that's going to alleviate some of the guard play for Devin Booker and Chris Paul in this one. But I'm not sure if he's going to be on a minutes limit. So looking at Torrey
Uh-huh.
Craig, his points, rebounds, and assist line is 15.5 on BetMGM and on Hard Rock Sportsbook, -110. He's played well in this series. He's been the guy that's been rewarded by Coach Monty Williams in the playoffs, averaging the most minutes outside of everybody not named Chris Paul, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, and CP3. He shot the ball
Yeah.
well, 67% from the overall, 55% from the 3-point line. And if you watch the games, he's been a beneficiary of KD and Devin Booker getting all those double teams. He's cleared the
Yeah.
15 and a half points, rebounds, and assists in 3 of the 4 games that he's played in, with the only one missing being the last one. And if you just look at his numbers, he's averaging 20.8 points, rebounds, and assists overall. So I'm expecting him to kind of keep it going, especially being back home. If he can play that well on the road, I definitely expect him to play that well at home. And I would be playing Torrey Craig to go over his points, rebounds, and assists at 15 and a half, I see.
You would think he would play heavier minutes too, right? If it's a blowout at some point. I was just talking about how if they get an early lead, KD and Booker and CP could be sitting for the most part. He would definitely be one of the guys that takes advantage and gets some of that usage, right? Who else other than Torrey Craig on this lineup here would get some usage and run without
Bismack
if it's a
Biyombo.
blowout game? Yeah,
Bismack
what's he
Biyombo
gonna
and
get? Maybe
Landale
some
and
rebounds?
yeah.
What do you think on the Clipper side? Obviously everyone's talking about Westbrook and all that stuff. Who do you think takes advantage here on the Clipper side with Kawhi out?
Man, it's difficult. I see. I think any of those guys could potentially be the guy. A guy that can shoot the ball very, very well, like Eric Gordon could absolutely be in play. I think the Clippers are destined to try to have to play fast without Kawhi being out there, so that they don't let the Suns' defense get set up in the half court. So, it could be an Eric Gordon night. It could be a Norman Powell. I know you got his numbers up on the screen. He's coming off a bad game, so probably bounces back in this one as well. But game fives where teams are down 3-1, RC, is really a time where you have to bet on who you think is a dog, right? And that's why I talked about Anthony Edwards in the last game. You don't want to just put your money on somebody that's going to come out here and lay down. So you really want to know the character of the player that you're backing, especially if they're on the road in a potential closeout game, because it could get real ugly in Ty Lue could throw wave the white flag if they're down by 20 at the start of the fourth quarter and nobody gets to their points total. So I just say to the viewers, be cautious with who you're putting your money on in this spot for sure. I didn't bet on any of the Clippers players, but like you said, RC, I couldn't talk anybody off Westbrook, couldn't talk anybody off Norman Powell. It's just really about who you think is the dog. And I guess if I'm picking one, Westbrook. Westbrook's always been the dog, always played with a chip on his shoulder. Always play with that physicality and that aggression, where players just really don't want to get in front of them. Players don't want to challenge them at the rim. So I guess if I'm betting on anybody, it's Westbrook, but that's not a guy I'm typically used to backing, RC. So those are my thoughts on the Clippers side.
I know Wham was in here for a little bit, but he looked at StatMuse and said Tatum in closeout games. I want to see what Westbrook is like in closeout games. Is that what he used? Oh, okay. Well, man, it's been since 2020. That's crazy. Man, it's been a while, huh, for Westbrook? Yeah, I can't use that information. Man, I'm not I'm not gonna touch on any props today. I do like the Ant Edwards look. I think that makes a lot of sense. I think with Anderson out, I'm gonna take the screen off here. I know we're short on time, but I do like the Ant Edwards look. Is that one your best prop look for today?
Yeah, that's my favorite. I see. I just think that like I said, you got to putting your money on somebody to go into somebody else's gym to kind of keep the season going. First of all, they got to have a mindset that they can actually go in there and do it. Anthony Edwards said that already. I don't think that they win the game, but it reminds me a lot of Jimmy Butler yesterday. Nobody thought that Jimmy Butler was going to go out there and do what they did. And shout out to Budenholzer, RC. Real quick, going back to that game. He was the guy who didn't make any adjustments. Eventually, you just got to throw all 4 people at him and keep one person at the rim and just say Jimmy Butler's not going to beat us. And he never did that. His lack of ability to make in-game adjustments really killed him yesterday. And I think
not only that, just the fact that he didn't even call time. He didn't use his time.
Call timeout during that 14-0 run.
Yeah. That was crazy to me. I see that a lot. Not only just him, but other coaches as well that I've seen go on runs where they don't call timeouts and they have like two or three remaining. It don't make any sense, dude. It doesn't at all. I think I know you. I know you could probably get away with it in the regular season when it's not as important, but in the playoffs when you're down 2-1, you gotta use any type of momentum stopper you can. You know what I mean? Like you can if you don't have timeouts, foul somebody. You know what I mean? Like early in that quarter, stuff like that where you gotta find a way to stop that momentum. And
Yeah,
we
no,
always
I
talk
agree.
about like the game's it's a game of runs and shit like that. So
That's a
um
fact. Because they was
yeah,
winning, like you said, they was winning by 14. But I was just in comparison, RC. I think you got to be betting on that dog, and Anthony Edwards would be that dog for me. A potential ladder spot, probably taking him to
yeah.
30, probably put a little bit on 35 as well. I haven't done so yet, but that would be my
My
absolute best
like
bet.
I like it a lot. I'm probably just gonna tell you on it, based off of what the your cap on it. But the other thing that scares me is like he's been scoring like 30 plus and even had a 40 plus game, but we're seeing a 27 and a half in this game here. You know what I mean? That's the only thing that scares me is like why not? Why are they putting it that low, right? For
I
the
think they
most part,
expecting the I think they're expecting the game to go under. I see, and I kind of expect the game to go under too. I just feel like if you look at
yeah,
his usage rate and who else is going to go out there and really score the ball? Anthony Edwards, Carl Anthony Towns has been suspect specifically on the road. Like I said,
yeah,
Aaron Gordon he definitely has the better matchup because Aaron Gordon outside of Aaron Gordon and outside of Carl Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards, like nobody on this team is really efficient at all, right? They're down so many
yeah.
players, so many playmakers that it just feels like that's the boom or bust type player for sure tonight. And if Anthony Edwards goes down, letting all the shots go, I see if he goes 7 for 35 and finishes with 18 points, I'm willing to down that hill. But I'm gonna ride with my man Anthony tonight, RC.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of usage with him tonight. All right, let's get to this. I know we only got like a few more minutes here, but let's get to the best bet section. Chris, drop what you want to drop for the viewers here. Official plays or leans as well.
Yeah, for sure. So my favorite look on the card today is and it's correlated, right? It's correlated with historical data. It's correlated with how the Boston Celtics have been playing throughout the entirety of this season, how they played throughout the entirety of the playoffs, whether they're in Atlanta, specifically at home though. And that's the first half. I like Boston first half. I typically don't play lines up to 8, but like I said, I think it's a double digit lead for them at halftime at least in this game. So I like Boston first half if I'm betting any kind of side. I also lean all three of the games to go under, even though you lost some value. I think in order, I would probably look at Boston, Atlanta go under first, Denver, and I don't trust Minnesota's offense. So I think Anthony Edwards could go over his points prop, but that could potentially be all of the points that they score.
Just
so
like
so I
Butler,
like
right?
that game to
Yeah,
go under as well. And then as far as other player props, RC, I really do like
Capella
Clint
under.
Capella. I talked about his under rebounds and assists, under 11 and a half. I think he could potentially get played off the floor with Okongwu playing well. Also, Anthony Edwards, we just talked about him over his 27 and a half, over 28 and a half, wherever you want to, get the number. You can get it with less juice, with more juice. And
Yeah,
Cat,
yeah.
and Cat. I think Aaron Gordon keeps him in jail today, and he'll get out and enjoy his vacation after they lose this game, and he'll come back next year ready to go, RC. So under 32 and a half points, rebounds, and assists for Cat as well. I didn't play any of the player props, full disclosure, but I probably will. I just kind of handicapped them earlier because I did the prop cast with my guy Munov, and
Yeah,
those are
yeah.
the looks. That's what the research shows me. That's what my eyes tell me, RC.
Yeah, I tuned into that show earlier. That's a fun show to watch. I think that's maybe the first time I went through a full show watching it. Usually, I just pop in and while I'm trying to do my research and I'm not paying attention too much, but I hear what you guys are saying. But yeah, that show is pretty dope. If you guys haven't watched it, Chris and Munaf, who are typically on the show, or not typically, but they're on the show a lot. They do the propcast with SGPN, right? SGPN
Yes, sir.
basketball, or yeah, yeah. And SGPN, I think they have like multiple YouTube channels, so you got to figure out which one it is. But if you follow Chris and Munaf on Twitter, they typically just send out the link anyway. So for me, I talked about it earlier. I shared the trend or the query about these double digit favorites and how well they do early first quarters mainly, and then also in the first half. So I took first quarter and the first half pretty much for all the favorites today. I did I do like the Celtics game under. I do like the Suns game under as well. Um, I know Chris mentioned the Nuggets game under, but uh, I kind of stayed away from that one. Especially with your thought process of 8 and going over. that might push it over just maybe even slightly. So I stay away. I'm gonna stay away from that one, but I'm gonna dive in deeper on that Celtics and Suns under and see if I end up taking it anyways, even with the number not there. Um, Other than that, guys, I didn't touch any props, but hopefully you guys, some of the queries that we use here are you can use for the remainder of the playoffs. It's not even first round things like that. So, not from this show and previous shows as well. So you guys can take some of those and use it on your own, kind of just save them. And that's throughout the season too, man. Like we've been pretty much touching on a lot of queries, trends, and all that stuff. So if you guys like the show, make sure you guys hit the like and subscribe button. Share it out to the people you feel like would benefit from it. This show here, it's called Let's Cap, so that we can kind of learn and do this together. This is not your typical, here's my bets type of play. Obviously, if you guys want to fade or follow it, then you can, right? I always close the show like that. If you fade or follow us, it's on you guys to make that call. And that's pretty much what it is. Just being able to do this as a community. With that said, guys, that is the end of the show. And like I said just a second ago, better follow us. It is on you guys to make that call. Good luck with our reaction. Till next time, peace. Shit. Oh fuck. I can't hit the end button, Chris. Hold on. Uh I'm stuck. Hold on. I can't close this show at all, guys. 1 second.
Why not?
I don't have no clue. All right, 1 second. Oh, there it is.